Hello everybody, and welcome back to Herbies Garage. Today I'm out on the 2025 Lifan KPT 400, and I'm going to talk about this bike in a little bit, but man, it's a beautiful day. Couldn't wait to get out and ride. It's getting close to winter, second week of November, and I've been riding my bikes a lot, trying to make sure all the fluids, stay moving and the battery stays charged because I'm getting to that point to where I'm going to have to start winterizing bikes. And in a recent video I talked a little bit about winterizing my bikes, and I was going to keep a couple of them out and not winterize them, at least not at the beginning. I'll probably wait later on in the year, like mid-December maybe, before I finally winterized all of them. But I'm going to keep a couple of them out, and this is one of the ones I'm going to keep out. It's a little bit windy today. I've made some adjustments to my equipment here, so I'm hoping it helps with a little bit of the wind reduction in the background. I know there's people who can edit that kind of stuff out. I've tried. I'm not good at it. When I've tried to edit the wind noise out, I end up messing up everything else. So I just give up on that part of it, at least for now. I'm going to pull over here. We're going to look at the bike. I'm going to talk about it just a little bit because I probably have some new people that joined up recently because of my Goldwing videos. So you maybe haven't seen this bike yet. So I'm going to talk a little bit about it. First thing I want to talk about, as you can notice, it's got a real nice screen on it. It's got a lot of information on there, and it doesn't have a key. The key's in my pocket. Take my glove off. I'll show you. It's got a key fob. As long as this is in my pocket, I can start the bike without having to fiddle with a key. I don't have to have stuff dangling on there and scratching my paint or anything like that. In order to get gas, it's kind of like a car that flips out. I can just open the gas cap up with that. But the bike itself is a twin cylinder parallel twin that's liquid cooled, and it's electronic fuel injection. It has about 400 cc, has about 42 horsepower or so, and I almost said 400 horsepower. That would be cool. But anyway, it has a 6-speed transmission. It does have ABS, and believe it or not, the way you see it right now, about $6,500. Isn't that crazy for a brand new bike? Now, this is made by Lifan. It's a Chinese manufacturing company, and when you order this bike from VenomMotorsportsUSA.com, I'll leave a link in the description if you want one. This will come in a crate, and you have to do some minor assembly. You have to put the fender on. I don't remember if it comes with a wheel on or not, but just some minor stuff. You have to put the handlebars on and all that kind of stuff. And the bags in the back. It's a pretty simple assembly, but it's pretty cool. You get to do it yourself. I really like that. And this is an adventure style bike. It does come with adventure tires, 80/20 tires. I put on regular street tires because I ride on the street all the time. As you can see, it's got quite a bit of accessories on it. But just the stock bags on it, my goodness, they hold a lot. It's really cool to be able to go out somewhere, and if you need to pick something up, you got the availability right there. And this bike is probably pretty close to being a perfect middleweight bike. I'm telling you, the seating position on it is fantastic. The fuel economy is fantastic. The comfort for your legs and your hips, and every part of it, the seating position, it reminds me of my Goldwing a lot in the seating position, the way your arms are kind of relaxed. It's really a good position. What makes this bike so good for older guys like me is it does have a cable clutch. It doesn't have hydraulic, but I'm telling you what, I can pull that with one finger. That is the easiest pull clutch, especially on a 400cc. I don't know how they could get that so easy and yet not have the clutch slip, because it doesn't slip. So that's fantastic. It's got a lot of cool little features. You know, it's got LED lighting around the buttons where you can see them really clear at night. This bike offers so very much for the money. And as you can see, it's got a couple ports there. I got my phone charging in that port over there, and there's a port over here. I added that's a cigarette lighter port, and I just added that part in there to charge off of that as well if I need to. But man, I'm telling you what, this is an awesome bike. I know if you guys have seen this bike before, or you've been on my channel a while, you know I'm just repeating a bunch of stuff, probably boring you to death, but I just want to kind of fill people in that is not familiar with this bike. But anyway, I want to go out riding with it today, and I've got about 3,134 miles on it. Now, the only thing that this bike doesn't have that I wished it had was a center stand. I did put swing arm spools on it so I could put it up on a stand, but I really like center stands. That's the only thing I could think of that I would change on this bike. For the money, I'm telling you, it's probably the best money spent. It's really a good deal. Comes stock with this windshield. I added this to the top. I thought, you know, I'm just going to try it out. Well, I've had it on there for months now, and it's going to stay. I like it. I have to look through that instead of over it, but I like it because it's tinted and it keeps the bugs off. You ought to see if I go on a trip or something. That right there is just loaded with bugs. And the windshield's not real wide, but it's wide enough to keep the air off of you, you know, so you're not fighting the wind trying to keep upright. You know what I'm saying? You know, because sometimes you get on a bike, especially if it doesn't have a windshield at all, and you feel that wind pressure on you. It just wears your arms out, your shoulders, neck, all that kind of stuff. So it's really nice to have a windshield, and that does help a lot. Going on some back roads here at first. This is probably, I would say, one of my most used bikes, the one that I use the most. And the main reason for that is it's light enough to be flickable and maneuverable and not feel heavy on your legs, but it's heavy enough to where when you ride the interstate, it feels good and planted and solid. You know, don't have any issues at all. I did ride in the rain one day, and the ABS works perfect. I really do like that feature on this bike as well. Brakes work good, and everything seems to really work good. They did a great job with this bike, especially for the money. Now, if I wanted a perfect motorcycle, I would take this bike and put a 650 parallel twin in it. That would be the only change really that this bike would need, and it doesn't really need it. The 400 does pretty darn well on everything, but the 650 would just be like icing on the cake, even if they added $1,000 to the price, you know, and you had to pay $7,500 for it. Man, I'm telling you, it would be a fantastic deal for this. I've bought brand new bikes before, and I had one. I don't like the down bikes because there's things you could change to make them better, but I'm just going to mention this. I think I've mentioned it before. Bought a brand new Kawasaki Versus 650. Love the engine, love the bike. It was a green color, love the green. But man, the seat and the seating position to me was horrible. I mean, the leg position was good because it's kind of back like what this is here. But the seat just hurt terrible. I couldn't ride very long at all, and I had to get off of it. So I sold that bike not too long after I had it. It's a shame because, you know, when you get a good bike, you know, you want to ride it, and I was hoping for the best for it, but I just couldn't take it. This one here, I may have this one for a long time because it fits the bill so well. You know, I've been out not intending to go to the store, just to go out for a nice ride. And I thought, you know, I'm just going to stop and check out Harbor Freight or something like that. And, you know, I get something fairly good size and I could put it right in my box. I had to change the oil one time in my car, or my daughter's car. I don't remember which one it was. And I ran to Walmart. I bought 5 quarts of oil and filter and air filter and cabin filter, all that kind of stuff. And it all fit in the one box in the back. That is so handy, you know, just to have that availability when you need it. Woo, that's windy. That blew me off the road. You know, one time I was on, I think it was my KPM 200, I think. And I stopped in Harbor Freight just to check things out, and they had a free bucket. You didn't have to buy anything, come in, just look around and buy it, and you get a free bucket, a 5-gallon bucket. I thought, man, I could use one of those. But, you know, even if I had this bike, I could have fitted in this bike, but I would have had to have left the lid open, but that wouldn't have been a problem. But I didn't have anything to put that bucket in, so I just kind of hung it on the handlebar and put my hand on the metal part of it and just kind of held it there. It kind of just flung there in a breeze. But you know, it's nice to have the bags when you need them. That's what I'm trying to say. You know, when you go shopping, or even if you're not, just out and about, it's nice to have it. And you know, if you ever took a long trip, you know, you could even put one of those emergency gas bottles in there in case you ran out of gas. But this one, I don't think you'd have to worry about it, because you can go a long way before you have to fill up. You can make a long trip on this. I just had my service light come on this morning. I was out riding a little bit before I picked up my camera, and it was the oil change service light. I should have reset that when I changed my oil, and I forgot. I just changed my oil probably, I don't know, less than 100 miles ago, I think. But I got several bikes I want to ride today. Well, at least a couple anyway. No, I wouldn't say several, a couple. Been riding my Goldwing. I might be selling my Shadow Saber today. It's supposed to come at 1 o'clock. It's 10:15 right now. But I want to ride the scooter a little bit. I rode a KPM yesterday, did a short little video on shifting. A guy wanted me to do a video on how to shift, when to shift, that kind of thing. You know, it's kind of hard to do something like that, especially when you've been riding as long as I have, because I don't think about it. You know, I just ride, and you know, it's just second nature to me to shift, know when to shift. You know, I go by the sound of the engine. I don't ever look at the speedometer to shift. I kind of sometimes do, like if I'm really cranking on the throttle, because I don't want to hit red line, but I can tell by the sound of the engine where I'm at pretty much. Boy, you gotta love fall. These leaves start changing and looking so pretty. I don't like all the leaves. You know, I swept my garage out twice this morning. My neighbor has a oh, what do you call those trees? Sycamore tree. And those leaves are huge. And it seems like it drops leaves for 3 months. I mean, it's crazy the amount of leaves that's on that tree. I mean, it's a beautiful shade tree, but my goodness, it drops the leaves. And half of them seem to come into my yard, into my garage. I guess it creates like a vacuum in there, and you open the door up and it just sucks them in there. And you know, I gotta sweep it out all the time. It drives me crazy because it gets in all the nooks and crannies in the garage. It kind of like goes into the corners or the walls, the edges and stuff, you know. I do use my leaf blower and I'll blow it out. That does help a lot. I wish these cars go a little faster. I like that S-turn. I like to go fast on it. I think it's about 70, 72 already this morning. Compared to what it has been, it's been beautiful last couple of days. I like going through these small towns. A lot of people out today. I'd love to have this thing on the tail of the Dragon. I think it would do so wonderful on that. Maybe next year, we'll see. Price of gas is a little higher up here. My house, it's $2.97. Got down to $2.79. It's a lot better than it was early part of the year or later part of the year last year. It was down to about $4 a gallon. That person's putting his hand out for me to slow down. There must be a police officer up here coming into another little small town. It's like everything's been pretty much harvested. They're growing a lot of corn this year. You know what that's for, right? Yeah, I know some of it's for feed. Some of it's for the good old ethanol. Here in Illinois, I'm sure they probably make a lot of it for use a lot of corn for ethanol. Don't blame me. You know, I grew up with pure gas, and boy, we didn't have near the problems that you do now with this ethanol gas. And it's hard for me to find pure gas around me. There is one place that I know of that's not real far away, but it's far enough away where I won't want to go there to get gas all the time. Since I've been retired, I've been busy. Been working on my bikes, working on my house, cars, camper. I just had to winterize my camper, my RV, because still had some water in the water line, so I had to blow all the water out of it and fill it full of that pink stuff. It's supposed to stop the lines from freezing and bursting. And closed up the hot water tank and drained it out. Whatever else I did. I have to put the cover on it. I haven't done that yet. I was going to do that today, but It seems to be a little bit windy, so I don't know if I'm gonna do it today. Trying to put that big old cover on a windy day is absolutely ridiculous. So see how it goes. Yeah, with being retired, I'm used to being out during the day when there's not a whole lot of traffic. Everybody's at work. Today it's Saturday, so there's a lot of people out. I'm just going to pull off over here and we'll take one more look at it, and then I'm going to sign off. My tire pressure when I got in it this morning was in the red. I'll turn it off so you can hear me a little better. But after riding, the tire pressure build up. You know, with the heat causes, you know, pressure to build. So thermodynamics, you know. So anyway, it's showing average 78.4 miles to the gallon. I've mentioned before where that's off a little bit. So that's probably pretty close to 70. On the interstate I was getting like 60, I think it was 63 or so, 62.5, something like that. But this bike does have a spin-on oil filter, which makes it really easy to change the oil. And the coolant reservoir bottle is right here. You can see, I don't know if you can see it or not, but I'm still full. Brake fluid, everything's easy to see and check on this bike. Of course, I got a cup holder. This cup holder here I've had on, oh my goodness, probably a dozen motorcycles. I've had it forever. This is a Kuryakin, about $200 or $120, $130 for that cup holder, but it's really, really good one. So anyway, just going to give you one last walk around. I've mentioned this before too on this right here. This is a Alaska Leather Company. No, AlaskaLeather.com. This is a small size. This is made in USA. It's original sheepskin. I'm gonna close this. It's a little bit windy. And I'm telling you, that little bit of pad there adds some really nice comfort, and the hair on it makes wind flow through it so your butt don't get so hot on the vinyl. Really nice. If you ever want to take the seat off, it's got a key hole right here where you can open it with a key. I like that. You don't have to have any tools to take that seat off. That's awesome. I can't praise this bike enough. I mean, for the money, about $6,500 the way you see it, except for my accessories, of course. You really can't beat the bike. It's a nice bike, one of my favorites. All right, that's all I have for you today. Thanks for coming along riding with me, and I'll see you on the next one.